Welcome everyone to In Defense of A-Holes, the show where we try to look at problems from a different point of view. I'm your host, Mr. Sean, and let's get started. Our first story today comes from Maleficent Eagle 7797 and is, "Am I the a-hole for telling my friend is it pathetic that she can't drive and at this point she needs to get over it? I may 100% be the asshole here. I have a friend who is 22 and she has her license but she cannot drive. She is terrified of driving. The driving videos of crashes and her parents being stressed when teaching her really messed her up. She got her license and then never drove again. Anyway, she needs driven everywhere. We are in the USA. Driving is pretty important. Usually I am fine with picking her up and driving her, but I am so tired of it. If we go out, since I am the only one driving, I can't have a drink. I have to pay for more gas, I have to figure out the route. If she is late, well, I am late. My complaints go on and on. She was complaining to me about not going anywhere. I reminded her she has a car she could use, and she does have a license. I heard the whole spill of how it's so dangerous, and I told her it's getting old. I said I can't be driving you everywhere. At this point, it is pathetic, and she needs to get over it. She hasn't talked to me since, and thinks I am an ass. OP, you are the a-hole. By befriending someone with anxiety, you have thereby agreed to cater your entire life around that anxiety. It is your job to make up for all of your friends' deficiencies, and if you don't, you're a terrible friend. You are the a-hole. Our next story comes from Tadpole Hive Mind. It is entitled, "Am I the a-hole for refusing to do housework while my boyfriend goes to work, even though I don't have a job?" I, 19 female, have been dating my boyfriend, 25 male, for 5 months now, and he's amazing. However, one disagreement we often have is over housework. My boyfriend thinks that I should do housework, seeing as he works 48 hours a week, and I'm not in employment. I have always refused. We don't live together, we live in separate houses and pay separate rent. I afford rent through my university student loan, as well as tutoring and babysitting part-time, so in my opinion, I have no reason to clean his house when I have my own that I pay for. My boyfriend thinks it's unfair that I don't really work, yet have enough money to rent. In his eyes, I should do household chores for him because he is the breadwinner. The thing is, I don't see him as the breadwinner. He doesn't pay for my rent, I do. We aren't married, and I'm still in education. I can't tell if I'm being unreasonable. I cook for him and occasionally help with chores, but I refuse to be a full-time maid for him. Then again, he works so hard, whereas I only work a few hours a week. OP, you are the a-hole. I'm going to give you a little credit because you're only 19 and therefore probably can't see things from your older boyfriend's point of view. But he works really hard, and your only excuse is that you had to do some math homework. You don't live together, and you never will with that attitude. Hopefully he leaves you for someone a little bit more mature. You are the a-hole. Our next story comes from Equivalent Tree 2A and is entitled, "Am I the a-hole for telling my depressed brother he only has himself to blame for our parents not wanting to talk to him?" Throwaway, and I'll try to keep things relatively short. My male 34 younger brother, Matt, male 31, was engaged to this woman, Emma, female 30, for the past year. Everyone in our family, my sister, parents, and myself, thought they were a perfect match. Emma was very polite, well-educated, had a great family whom we had met a few times, and was head over heels for Matt. Fast forward to 3 months ago, and Emma finds out Matt cheated on her with this other woman, Cindy, female 25. Needless to say, the marriage has been called off, and everyone has been beyond angry with Matt. Our parents haven't spoken to Matt since the fallout of what's happened, and even I have only spoken to him twice, each call lasting less than 5 minutes since then. Our sister has also not spoken to him either. This morning, I received a call from Matt saying that he wanted to reconcile with the family. He mentioned how upset and depressed he's been since making the worst mistake of his life, and how much he regrets his actions. I was listening up until this point, but got annoyed when he started mentioning how also Cindy wants to meet our parents and the rest of us. He told me that he left our parents a voicemail a few days ago, but they haven't responded, and that he feels isolated from our family. I point blank told him that he only had himself to blame for this, and that he clearly didn't think what he did was a mistake since he was still with Cindy. He said he just wanted us to give them a chance, but I told him I had to go to work and left the call while he was finishing a sentence as I was very frustrated with him. Am I the a-hole? OP, you and your whole family are the a-hole for treating your brother this way. Clearly, he realized he made a mistake in asking this girl Emma to marry him, and he did her a favor by cheating on her with a much younger woman. Now she's free to make a clean break from him with no lingering love, and she can move on with her life, and he can move on with his. He clearly wants to be with Cindy more than he wanted to be with Emma, and that biggest mistake of his life was clearly asking Emma to marry him, and he realizes that, and that's very big of him. You all have decided you would like him to marry Emma more than Cindy, and if you love Emma so much, why don't you marry her? I don't get why you're treating him like he did something wrong. Our next story comes from Direction Able 3550 and is entitled, Am I the a-hole for telling my sister that she no longer has to worry about me being a distraction at her wedding because I won't be going? There's background that might not be relevant, but I'll throw it in just in case people need it. My sister is 2 years younger than me. Growing up, she would always come to me for help with things our parents wanted her to do alone or for money, because I had money young from helping out my best friend's grandparents who would always throw us $5 or $10 for doing stuff for them. But my sister was a very popular kid and had a bunch of friends who were popular and I was not, so she never liked being seen with me. When we got older, it was worse because she'd ask to borrow money or she'd ask me to drive her home from school, but if I dared approach her around her friends, she'd get so mad and say it was embarrassing to be seen with me. She and her friends used to make fun of me and my best friend too, because he's a guy, and they would say that we were either secretly dating or he was secretly gay. She'd throw out some wild shit just to fit in. It annoyed the crap out of me because she'd always want something when none of her friends were around. I'd say we weren't at all close in that time despite me giving in normally because I did love her, but she was shitty to me and to my friend. As adults, who are now 26 and 28, I would say our relationship got better eventually, and she seemed to improve a lot as a person. She even apologized to me and my best friend for going along and spreading more rumors about us. She even asked me to be her maid of honor, which shocked me because I didn't ask her to be mine. I thought we were finally starting to be close as sisters, but she started treating me like shit again. She wanted me to change my hair completely. My hair is pink and all textured. Then she wanted me to cover up the 2 tattoos I have, one of which represents my kids, and told me I looked like a biker and not a bridesmaid. When we went dress shopping, she'd always have something negative to say about the dresses they had me try while she was crazy about her friends' dresses. After a few months, she told me she felt like I would be too distracting on her wedding day and would I mind being a regular guest and not a bridesmaid. Something clicked for me then, and I told her not to worry about me being a distraction because not only would I step down as her maid of honor, but I will keep myself away from her wedding and do her the kindness of not being there when she's clearly still embarrassed of me like she was as a kid. She freaked out and said she never said she didn't want me there. She told me I'm her sister and I should be there. My parents were so disappointed when they learned what happened, but they said they understood my decision and it was probably for the best overall. My sister's fiancé accused me of holding the past against her and overreacting to what she wants for her wedding day, and I should do better. My sister cried down the phone to me asking why I'm being mean to her. Am I the a-hole? OP, you are absolutely 100% the a-hole. Clearly, you are an embarrassing person to be around and your entire family is disappointed in the way that you live your life, and your sister was kind enough to invite you to the wedding, to be her bridesmaid, and you just couldn't do what was asked of you. And despite you being an absolute train wreck of a human being, your sister, while not able to trust you to fulfill the role of maid of honor, still asked you out of the goodness of her heart to be at her wedding, and you said no, and your parents were disappointed in you yet again, but they know how embarrassing you are, so that's why they said it was for the best overall, because they too know that you would be an embarrassment. It's clear that your sister has grown up since high school, but you haven't. Alright guys, let's do one more before we end the video. This last story comes from Alone Figari and is entitled, Am I the a-hole? Girlfriend tells me to wear more clothes while we are alone at home. My girlfriend, 26 female, and I, 31 male, just had an argument about me walking around the home wearing only shorts. We live in Spain where it's damp and 30 degrees Celsius plus, which is equivalent to 86 degrees Fahrenheit, every day. We don't use AC, but only a couple of fans. My argument is that it is too hot to be wearing t-shirts indoors, especially if it's only me and her at home. I got frustrated and told her, "It's not like I'm running around with my junk out, and besides, we are not strangers. What really bothers you?" She said she doesn't want to look at my fat white body every day. It makes her uncomfortable, and if I can't change that, then maybe I should move out. I certainly don't have an athletic body, but I am not obese either. An average shape for 30-year-old who exercises occasionally and well within healthy BMI. Am I the a-hole for being stubborn here and refusing to wear shirts? OP, you're being an a-hole here. You were lucky enough to get a hot young girlfriend that is 5 years younger than you, and you won't do her the courtesy of not having to look at your old, flabby, white body? She's clearly doing you a favor just being with you, and I'm sure it's hard enough for her to stomach your gross body when you're on top of her during lovemaking. Don't make her endure that during the rest of her day. Have some sympathy for her over what a gross old man you are. And that's going to be our video today, guys. I don't like to brag too often, but I'm pretty sure I rated all these pretty fairly and objectively. Make sure to tell me how much you agree with me in the comments. Also remember to like and subscribe. Until next time, everybody, I'm Mr. Sean, and I hope you alpha great day and an even beta tomorrow. Bye-bye.